Vaswani. Well, let's talk this through with Graham Parker, Chief Executive of Gravity Supply Chain, and joins us from Singapore. Graham, you know, your company is looking and enabling supply chains, as it were. What are you seeing as a consequence of coronavirus?
I mean, it's major disruption on an unprecedented scale that's never been seen before. It's not just the impact of the exports that's coming out, but it's also the impact of what's going into China as well. I mean, it's truly devastating, and I think you also have to feel for the people that are involved in it, the people that have lost their lives in there as well. So it's just the global supply chain is one thing, but the loss of life and the devastation that's going around with it is very sad.
Is it possible at this point to assess what this could mean going forward? Of course, we don't know if this virus has peaked yet. We still are waiting for information and data from the Chinese authorities. But is it possible to assess what impact this could have in the long term?
I think it's impossible to say right here, right now. I mean, some of the factories are opening, some of them aren't opening. Trying to repatriate the workers back to where the factories are. The lockdown of the vessels carrying, the vessels admitting ports. The airlines, obviously, some are still flying, but some aren't. The vast majority have pulled out of China. The impact is huge, it's significant. I think we're looking at a minimum of 6 months before you can even really truly understand the true implication of what this would look like.
So it would have definitely a knock-on effect on growth in China. It's already slowing anyway. Some are projecting we could see a couple of percentage points off Chinese growth in the first half of this year.
I think it's absolutely going to have a bigger and a far greater knock-on effect than people even begin to imagine. Purely because you just don't know when the factories can able to get back to full capacity. You know, they've already extended their holiday by a week. You've got the additional capacity problems now, where people are just not able to get back to the factory. So, in terms of actually understanding when the factories will be able to get to full capacity, it's pretty much unknown. Like you say, it's unprecedented.
And just talk us through what it means for you doing your job in Singapore. To what extent are you personally impacted, if at all?
We're not really impacted in as much as we provide real-time visibility to supply chains. So we provide to shippers and logistics providers the visibility of where their products and stock is. So obviously what we're doing is we're monitoring the situation with our risk chain. We're able to predict probably about 4 or 5 days before some of the major carriers started to emit in the port. So we're able to help our customers by getting them to move product to regions where the carriers would still continue to fly into, and the ships were still port of call. But yeah, we provide the real-time updates and insights as to exactly what's going on in terms of their merchandise and stock positions.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you. Graham Parker, interesting, Chief Executive of Gravity Supply Chain, joining us from Singapore.